And this I love the really sharp cheeses, and the white cheddar is one of the sharpest. I got the extra sharp. You can only buy that in the block, so I did have to grate that just with the grater, or if you wanted to drag out your food processor that does that and clean all the rest of the food processor, you can do that, or you can just grate it by hand. And I learned a new trick this weekend. I happened to be watching the Food Channel one day and saw how this lady, I don't know her name, how she did this onion, and I thought, I need to try that and show the class. So I will cut the onion first. We're going to I'll go ahead and put this on, and I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of butter in here to cook our onion and our squash. And this is 3 pounds of squash. I'll cut a couple more so we can get that worked on. But the onion, the way that she did it is, and I always cut off this end first. She called that the hairy end, because I thought that's where a lot of the stuff that makes you cry came from. And I had heard that you cut that off first and you sort of eliminate some of that. She said leave that on, cut this end off, cut it in half, right through everything, then peel it. This was so cool. Okay, so you still let that end on. Then we're going to make one. All that. Whew. Okay, one cut in the center, not all the way through. And I'm going to do that. I probably will put it through. I think my knife needs to be sharpened a little bit. Okay, so through there, and then just make little lines, cutting that. Whoops. Okay, get that out of the way. So we've got it not through, because you can see it's all together. And then we're just going to slice it like this. You don't have to worry about the onion slipping. And when you can't get this anymore, and you flip it down, cut that, cut that, cut that, and you're done. Okay, all done. That was easy. I'll show you that one more time when we get to the next onion. All right, that's nice and sizzling. That stirred up a little bit. I love the smell of cooking onions. And you can see how fine these onions are. We're going to chop it up a little bit more. Okay, woo, that's strong. Okay. We've got our squash here, and I did, instead of just slicing it, because some of the squashes that I picked were big, so I just cut it in half. And I guess we don't have Joey here today, so we don't have to save the squash pieces. Whoops. All right, we're going to stir that up, put a lid on it. Okay, I'll let that cook down a little bit. Whoops, put that in. I put it over there, I didn't put it in. That's a teaspoon and a half of salt. Okay, let that cook. What about what? Pepper too? Okay. There's always got to be a purist in here. Then I added the wrong salt. Okay, we'll put the pepper in there. I might have to add that a little bit later too. I got my little cups mixed up. All right, now we got the salt and pepper in there. Now we'll let it cook down. Okay. Okay, that looks good. We'll see if we can do it up here. Okay. Now this, we're going to do this on the side. It's called a roux. We're going to start with equal amounts of your fat, which this time we're going to use butter. You can also use oil depending on your taste. And equal amount of flour. So we're going to melt the butter. And when that's melted, we'll stir in, we'll whisk in the flour. When we get the flour in, you'll see what it looks like. We're going to slowly add some milk, and that'll make our cheese sauce, or our white sauce actually. And then to that we'll add our cheese. Okay, we're going to add our flour, and you do have to keep whisking this. And by cooking it a little bit like this, we're going to take the flour taste out of it. And again, this is called a roux. This is the basic ingredient, or a starter of a lot of sauces. It's a good thickening. If you're going to make gravy, this is where you would start. Okay, that is nice and bubbly. I'm going to slowly add the milk, and you'll see, can you see it in the screen? It's going to really sort of clump up. See? But don't worry, it'll all come together if you just keep whisking. And this is a cup and a half of milk. After last week, I got the reduced fat, the 2%. We used all whole milk last week. I thought, you know, well, we'll just try to go with that reduced fat. When it gets to that point, you can go ahead and add the rest of it. Okay, we're going to let this come to a boil. That looks pretty good. Looks like we don't have a lot of water to worry about in here, so I think we'll take that off. All right, we're going to add the cheese to this. Woo, it's too crazy. And we're going to kind of whisk in our cheese a little bit at a time until it melts. And we'll have our cheese sauce done. Now we're going to put this into here. And then we're going to put this into here. Okay. Sprinkle it with a little bit of our Italian breadcrumbs. And pop this in the oven. Okay. This smells great. Here is our sausage. Squash, what am I thinking about?